everybody, it's Jenny at the Orcas Public Library again, and I have a story for you. This week, I thought we would pull out an oldie but a goodie, and let's see if you like it. This was one of my favorite stories when I was a little kid, and it's called The Sneetches, and it's written by Dr. Seuss. Maybe you've read this story too, but if you haven't read it, you're in for a treat. Let's see, and inside you see those crazy Sneetches. Looks like they're having a good time. Let's see. Now, the star-bellied Sneetches had bellies with stars. The plain-bellied Sneetches had none upon theirs. Those stars weren't so big, they were really so small, you might think such a thing wouldn't matter at all. But because they had stars, all the star-bellied Sneetches would brag, "We're the best kind of Sneetches on the beaches." With their snoots in the air they would sniff and they'd snort. "We'll have nothing to do with the plain-bellied sort." And whenever they met some, when they were out walking, they'd hike right on past them without even talking. Oh. And when the star-bellied children went out to play ball, could a plain belly get in the game? Not at all. You only could play if your bellies had stars, and the plain-bellied children had none upon theirs. When the star-bellied Sneetches had frankfurter roasts or picnics or parties or marshmallow toasts, they never invited the plain-bellied Sneetches. They left them out cold, in the dark, on the beaches. They kept them away, never let them come near, and that's how they treated them year after year. Then one day, it seems, while the plain-bellied Sneetches were moping and doping along on the beaches, just sitting there wishing their bellies had stars, a stranger zipped up in the strangest of cars. "My friends," he announced in a voice clear and keen, "my name is Sylvester McMonkey McBean. And I've heard of your troubles. I've heard you're unhappy, but I can fix that. I'm the fix-it-up chappie. I've come here to help you. I have what you need, and my prices are low, and I work at great speed. And my work is 100% guaranteed." Then quickly Sylvester McMonkey McBean put together a very peculiar machine, and he said, "You want stars like a star-bellied Sneetch? My friends, you can have them for $3 each. Just pay me your money and hop right aboard." So they climbed inside. Then the big machine roared, and it conked, and it bonked, and it jerked, and it burked, and it popped them out. But the thing really worked, and when the plain-bellied Sneetches popped out, they had stars. They actually did. They had stars upon theirs. Then they yelled at the ones who had stars at the start. "We're exactly like you. You can't tell us apart. We're all just the same now, you snooty old smarties. And now we can go to your frankfurter parties." "Good grief," groaned the ones who had stars on the first. "We're still the best Sneetches, and they are the worst. But now how in the world will we know," they all frowned, "if which one is what, or the other way round?" Then up came McBean with a very sly wink, and he said, "Things are not quite as bad as you think. So you don't know who's who, that is perfectly true. But come with me, friends, do you know what I'll do? I'll make you again the best Sneetches on beaches, and all it will cost you is $10 eaches." Belly stars are no longer in style, said McBean. What you need is a trip through my star-off machine. This wondrous contraption will take off your stars so you won't look like Sneetches who have them on theirs. And that handy machine worked very precisely, removing all the stars from their tummies quite nicely. Then, with their snoots in the air, they paraded about, and they opened their beaks and they let out a shout. We know who's who. Now there isn't a doubt. The best kind of Sneetches are Sneetches without. Then, of course, those with stars got frightfully mad. To be wearing a star now was frightfully bad. Then, of course, old Sylvester McBean invited them into the star-off machine. Then, of course, from then on, as you probably guess, things really got into a horrible mess. You want to see the horrible mess? Let's see what's happening. Whoa, look at that. All the rest of that day, on those wild screaming beaches, the fix-it-up chappie kept fixing up Sneetches. Off again, on again, in again, out again. Through the machines they raced round and about again, changing their stars every minute or two. They kept paying money, they kept running through, until neither the plane nor the starbellies knew whether this one was that one, or that one was this one, or which one was what, or what one was who. Can you tell who's who? I can't. Then, when every last cent of their money was spent, the fix-it-up chappie packed up and he went. And he laughed as he drove in his car up on the beach. They never will learn. No, you can't teach a Sneetch. But McBean was wrong. I'm happy to say that the Sneetches got really quite smart on that day. The day they decided that Sneetches are Sneetches and no kind of Sneetches is the best on the beaches. That day, all the Sneetches forgot about stars and whether they had one or not upon theirs. I like that. That's a good one. That's a good one. A classically good one. I like that. There's so many good stories in this one. And another one that I love is, what was I scared of? It's true. What's another one? I don't know. Maybe we will read that one. If you're not too scared, that is. This one scared me a little bit when I was a kid, I have to admit. Maybe it's because it's so dark. I'm not sure. Should we try it? If you can, grab somebody you love, sit next to them close, and we'll try this story. What was I scared of? Well, I was walking in the night, and I saw something scary, for I have never been afraid of anything, not very. Then I was deep within the woods when suddenly I spied them. I saw a pair of pale green pants with nobody inside them. I wasn't scared, but yet I stopped. What could those pants be there for? What could a pair of pants at night be standing in the air for? And then they moved, those empty pants. They kind of started jumping. And then my heart, I must admit, it kind of started thumping. So I got out fast as I could go, sir. I wasn't scared, but pants like that, I did not care for. No, sir. And after that, a week went by. And then one dark night in Greenwich, I had to do an errand there and fetch some Greenwich spinach. Well, I had fetched the spinach. I was starting back through town when those pants raced round a corner and they almost knocked me down. I lost my Greenwich spinach, but I didn't even care. I ran for home. Believe me, I had really had a scare. Now, bicycles were never made for pale green pants to ride on, especially spooky pale green pants with nobody inside them. I'd be scared if I saw that. Wouldn't you be a little scared? Yes. And the next night, I was fishing for doubt trout on Rover River when those pants came rowing towards me. Well, I started in to shiver. And by now I was so frightened that I'll tell you, but I hate to. I screamed and rode away and lost my hook and line and bait too. I ran and I found a prickle bush. I hid myself away. I got prickles in my britches, but I stayed there anyway. Can you see where he is? I stayed all night and the next night too, but I'd be there still, no doubt. But I had to do an errand, so the next night I went out. That looks like a scary place to be at night. I had to do an errand. I had to pick a peck of snide in a dark and gloomy snide field that was almost 9 miles wide. And I said, I do not fear those pants with nobody inside them. I said and said and said those words. I said them, but I lied them. Then I reached inside a snide bush, and the next thing I knew, I felt my hand touch someone, and I'll bet that you know who. And there I was, caught in the snide, and in that dreadful place those spooky empty pants and I were standing face to face. I yelled for help, I screamed, I shivered, I howled, I yowled, I cried. Oh, save me from those pale green pants with nobody inside. But then a strange thing happened. Why, those pants began to cry. Those pants began to tremble. They were just as scared as I. I never heard such whimpering, and I began to see that I was just as strange to them as they were strange to me. I put my arm around their waist, and I sat right down beside them. I calmed them down. Poor empty pants with nobody inside them. And now we meet quite often, those empty pants and I, and we never shake or tremble. We both smile and we say, hi. Yeah. They're friends. Those green pants. They're friends now. I like those books. And it's actually Dr. Seuss is in honor of Banned Book Week. These books have been challenged. Surprisingly, I did not know that. But you can check out a whole bunch of other banned books. Here we have a list of them at the library this week because it is Banned Book Week. But we'll be here on Saturday for an outdoor story time as long as it's not raining or if it's not too smoky. But we'll be here. We have a whole bunch of other books that you can read. And I hope you like that one as much as I loved that book as a kid. Okay, everyone. Have a good week. Bye-bye.